Hi everyone! If you're watching this video, it probably means, or at least hopefully means, that you've seen our pregnancy announcement video. This video is going to be about the pregnancy symptoms that I felt before we got our big fat positive. We got faint lines since 11 days past ovulation, and then we got, of course, our big fat positive 13 days past ovulation. Cycle day 27. As some of you may know, this is our rainbow baby, as our last pregnancy ended in miscarriage at 5 weeks. I'm currently 13 weeks pregnant, so it seems a little bit late to film all these videos, but I made sure to track everything in the app that I'm using, which is Ovia, and I also keep a journal, so I wanted to make sure that I could remember everything, or as much as possible, and film when I had time. Charting, so there's a few different things that I did to chart when ovulation would be for me. I used the Clear Blue Advanced Fertility Monitor, and I really like that one because it's just very clear, easy to read, has some glitches, but I really like how clear it is. Another thing that I used was the Ovia app. So it lets you insert just any symptoms that you're feeling, your temperature, and a bunch of different other data that helps predict when you will ovulate. I also was taking my temperature every morning and taking that data and putting it into my Ovia app. And lastly, of course, looking out for different body changes, cervical fluid, and all that TMI stuff. So that really helped me figure out when my ovulation would be. What did we do differently this month? So I've been taking a prenatal vitamin for a very long time, so that's something that we were already doing way in advance. During the last few months of trying to conceive, we tried a few different things that we had read about online or heard from other people. Those include maca root powder. So both Daniel and myself, we would have, I think, like a tablespoon, something like that, once a day from my period until ovulation, and then would stop at ovulation. Another thing that I was personally doing was drinking red raspberry leaf tea, and that was also from my period until ovulation. As we started on this journey of trying to conceive, I was more mindful about my caffeine and alcohol intake. With caffeine and alcohol, I would say I already don't have very much, but I just tried to limit it, still have it sometimes, but just not overdo it. I think that there's only 2 things that we did differently the month that we conceived, and one is that I ate the pineapple core, like the hard part, and also we just tried different positions. So let's get to it. Let's get to the symptoms of weeks 1 to 4. Most of these I will just share generally, but there were a few days that stood out. As per my notes, 4 days past ovulation, I just had this really huge stabbing pain go in my back that just like knocked the wind out of me. And I remember that 10 days past ovulation is when my breasts started to feel really tender. So there's some symptoms I had that I didn't really think too much of because I experienced them a lot even before becoming pregnant. Things like neck pain, backaches, headaches, indigestion, issues with my stomach, and bloating. So those ones didn't give it away for me. But some weird symptoms started, and then I started to suspect, maybe I'm pregnant? Some of those symptoms are, I was so extremely thirsty. I just like couldn't drink enough liquid. Very early, I experienced so much nausea. So I was having a lot of ginger gummy bears and also a lot of dried ginger. Actually, I had like way too much of it early on in my pregnancy that now I'm not interested in anything ginger. Another symptom I experienced was a lot of pelvic pain. So I know like most of what I logged was left pelvic pain, but there were a few days as well where I had right pelvic pain. Early on, foods that I normally love, like sushi and drinking tea, started to sound gross. Had a lot of body aches and pains, and it felt like I was getting a cold. Also hot flashes, which is pretty abnormal for me. I always feel cold. And the last 2 symptoms that I'll mention is that I had really bad sleep. I would wake up every night between 1 and 2 a.m. and it'd just be really hard to sleep. But the symptom that gave it all away, or at least made me suspect the most, were all the bad vivid dreams that I was having, because that was also something that I experienced in my first pregnancy. Thank you so much for watching. Can you relate to any of these first symptoms? Did you experience some different ones or similar ones? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to hear from you.